Welcome to Hatman Strikes Back Daily Boxing News. So Jarrell Miller pulled out of the Fabio Wardley fight a couple of days ago, apparently citing a shoulder injury. Is that just a cover story or is that genuine? Who knows? In any event, in steps Justis Huni at relatively short notice. We're a little over a month away. Now the interesting thing about this is that Huni is a matchroom fighter. Given the size of Frank Warren's heavyweight stable, ordinarily you would have expected him to find an in-house replacement. The fact he's drafted in an Eddie Hearn fighter, I think speaks to the apparent strength of the relationship between Queensbury and Matchroom these days. Now, apparently Filip Hrgović, who is also a Queensbury fighter, was offered the fight, but Frank Warren indicated that he wanted too much money. And you can't blame him because he stepped in at relatively short notice for his last fight against Joe Joyce. He saved that show, and that fight wasn't a particularly long time ago. He may not even be in training, so to be asked to save another show and to take another fight on relatively short notice right after the last one, you can't blame him for asking for a lot of money. So anyway, they couldn't sort that out. They've got Justis Huni in. The fight will still be at Portman Road, the Ipswich football ground. Fabio Wardley's from Ipswich. And truth be told, this is a pretty good replacement. Stylistically, it's a very different fight to Jarrell Miller. I was really looking forward to the Miller fight. I thought it would have been fascinating. Justis Huni is far more of a boxer. Jarrell Miller is an out-and-out pressure fighter. Huni is 26 years of age, so 4 years younger than Fabio Wardley, who's now 30. He's an orthodox fighter from Australia, 6 feet 4 inches tall. His record is currently 12-0 with 7 KOs, and he had an extensive amateur background. He fought in various international tournaments. That being said, as a professional, he's yet to really impress me, quite honestly. His best wins have been over Kevin Lerena and Andrew Tabiti, 2 former cruiserweights, and both of those wins were on points. Bear in mind, Tabiti and Lerena have both been stopped before. Huni definitely hasn't shown himself to be a prolific puncher up to this point, but he does have pretty quick hands. He's well schooled, moves well, he's a decent combination puncher, got a decent jab. And so this is actually a tricky fight for Fabio Wardley. Totally different to what the Miller fight would have been. The Miller fight would have been a physical struggle and a mental struggle, dealing with the non-stop pressure and bullying tactics of Miller. Whereas with Huni, Wardley's up against somebody who is a better technical boxer than himself. And that's not unfamiliar territory for Fabio Wardley, of course. He's been in with several fighters that had an edge in technique over him. People like Fraser Clark, of course, Nathan Gorman even. And Fabio Wardley was able to come through those guys with his will, toughness, aggression, and power. Will he be able to do the same thing with Justis Huni? I think Huni's going to be trickier than the likes of Clark and Gorman because he's a lot more athletic. He's a lot faster than those guys. Much younger as well, certainly than Clark. Again, 26 years of age. So it's not a bad replacement at all from a quality standpoint for Jarrell Miller. Huni's unbeaten. He's definitely no slouch. I wouldn't at all be surprised if Huni was able to outbox and outpoint Fabio Wardley. He's definitely got the pedigree, but in front of his hometown fans, who are surely going to be pushing him on if this fight gets tricky, I'm probably going to side with Wardley because as we've seen many times, he does have that higher gear that he can kick into when he needs it. And I think he'll need it in this fight. I think he'll need to use it quite a lot, actually. I think he's going to need to hunt down Justis Huni and maybe take a few shots to land his own. Huni was actually in a bit of a rough fight against Kevin Lerena, and I wasn't particularly impressed with Huni in that fight. Lerena gave him a lot of trouble by imposing himself on Huni, and so if Lorena's able to do that, I reckon Wardley will go one better. And don't get it twisted, Huni still won against Kevin Lerena. I'm just saying the manner of his victory, to me at least, was not particularly convincing or impressive. That's probably a better way to describe it. It wasn't particularly impressive. Anyway, give me your thoughts on this fight. Fabio Wardley versus Justis Huni. I'm sure you're just as disappointed about Jarrell Miller pulling out because that would have been a fascinating stylistic matchup. And if you've got any views or information on Jarrell Miller's reason for pulling out, then I'd like to hear that as well. Because in boxing, there are a lot of cover stories. I'll leave it there. Anyway, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out.